Hi everyone, I'm Dudu from Susan's family. Today, I'll teach you how to make a Zongzi Earphone case, mushroom and fresh pork, plus rose bean paste version. The earphone case is divided into the main part, the Zongzi Leaf, accessories, and assembly. Start by crocheting the main part, then crochet the Zongzi Leaf. Next, make the accessories. Finally, assemble everything together. These two earphone case versions are slightly different only in the accessories, but the rest of the parts are identical. First, let's learn how to crochet the main part. Before we start, let's take a look at the chart. Our plus number refers to the round number. The column for stitch instructions indicates the stitch patterns needed when crocheting that particular round, as well as the increases and decreases situation. The total stitches column shows the total number of stitches for that particular round. After finishing crocheting that round, the stitch techniques used for the main part include X single crochet, V single crochet increase, W3SC in 1, a single crochet decrease, MSC3 tog, and SL slip stitch. Below, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. To make it easier for everyone to see clearly, I will use cotton yarn for this demonstration, and the colors will be random. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instruction. Start with a magic ring. Then crochet the first round. Our 1 is 6x. The number before X indicates how many single crochets you need to make. Here it means to work 6 single crochets. This means you will work 6 single crochets into the magic ring loop. First, make 1 chain as the turning chain for the single crochet. This turning chain is not marked in the chart. In reality, when crocheting in rounds, at the beginning of each round, you need to make a turning chain. The turning chain does not count as a stitch. You can pull it tight. Then start working the single crochets. Place a stitch marker on the first stitch to mark it. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a paperclip or safety pin as an alternative. Now let's take a look at the first single crochet worked with the original yarn. At the edge stitches here, there will be small gaps like this. Below the small gap, there will be a little hole. This is the first stitch. Place a stitch marker on this little hole to mark it. Then continue with the single crochets. After completing the last single crochet, make a mark on the stitch. After that, close the magic ring. Tighten the yarn tail. The loop is now closed. Then, in the first single crochet stitch of this round, finish with a slip stitch. That is, you crochet at the place marked by the first stitch marker. The slip stitch is completed there. This is the chain formed by the slip stitch. It doesn't count as one stitch. You need to tighten it. The slip stitch is not indicated in the chart. In reality, when crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch, and tighten it. This completes the first round. Now let's check the stitch count. Each stitch represents one stitch. Start counting from the stitch marker position. Count all the way to the second stitch marker position. There are a total of 6 single crochet stitches in this round. Next, take a look at what the first round looks like when crocheted with the original yarn. You can also count the stitches by counting these raised bumps on the surface. Start counting from the first stitch marker position. One bump represents one stitch. Count all the way to the second stitch marker position. There are a total of 6 bumps here. This means you have crocheted 6 stitches. This is the method for counting stitches. Move on to the second round. R2 is 6V. The number before the V indicates how many single crochet increases to work in a round. This indicates that you will work 6 single crochet increases continuously. Make 1 chain as your turning chain. Let me emphasize this again. At the start of each round, you need to crochet a turning chain. I won't repeat this in the following steps. Work 1 single crochet increase in the first stitch of the previous round. That is, at the spot where you insert the hook for the slip stitch. Crochet 2 single crochets here. Place a marker on the first stitch. As you crochet, place the starting tail above the hook. Weave it in as you go along. Insert the hook into the same stitch, and crochet a single crochet. This completes the single crochet increase. Continue with a single crochet increase in the next stitch on the left. The second single crochet increase is now completed. For the rest of this round, work 1 single crochet increase into each stitch from the previous round. Continue crocheting the remaining single crochet increases. Place a stitch marker on the last stitch. After completing, check the number of stitches. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Be sure to pay attention. After every round is completed, you must slip stitch to the first stitch. This concludes the second round. Note that the excess yarn tail from the starting chain doesn't need to be cut yet. Leave it as it is. We will consider the side without the yarn tail as the right side of the entire piece. All subsequent work will be done on the right side. Now let's move on to the third round. R3 is X, V, X, W, times 3. Parentheses indicate a group of stitches to be repeated in sequence. Times a number indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. Start with 1 chain as your turning chain. Then crochet 1 single crochet. Follow with 1 single crochet increase. Then make another single crochet. followed by 1 SC3 in 1. This means crocheting 3 single crochets in the same position. That's how you complete the single crochet with 3 stitches in 1. The group X, V, X, W is now finished. You need to repeat this 3 times for this round. Then crochet one more group. The second group is now completed. There's one group left. Everyone can finish this part according to the previous demonstration. After completing the last stitch, check the stitch count. Then join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. That completes the third round. When counting rounds, you can count the raised textures. 1 raised texture, 2 raised textures, 3 raised textures. Now we have crocheted a total of 3 rounds. This is the way to count rounds. Next, let's take a look at how it looks after completing 3 rounds with the original yarn. There are these circular raised textures on the surface. When counting rounds, you just need to count these raised textures. For the upcoming rounds 4 through 15, you just need to follow the chart and crochet the corresponding stitch patterns. Let me explain this part here. In the chart, R10, even 5-7x means to work 1 single crochet in each stitch from the previous round for a total of 57 stitches. R12, R15, and even 6-3x indicates that, starting from round 12, you work 1 single crochet in each stitch. Each round will have 63 stitches. Continue crocheting until the end of round 15. Pay attention while crocheting. Don't forget the turning chain and slip stitch. For each round, place a marker on the first stitch and the last stitch. This helps prevent adding or missing stitches. After completing, check the number of stitches. Continue using the method you've learned before. Refer to the chart. Finish crocheting these rounds accordingly. This is what it looks like after completing 15 rounds. Now start round 16. Chain 1 as the turning chain, then work 12 single crochets. After that, make 1 single crochet decrease. In the left stitch, first make 1 incomplete single crochet. Insert the hook and draw the yarn through. The incomplete single crochet is done. Next, in the adjacent stitch, make another incomplete single crochet. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops. The single crochet decrease is completed. Then work 7 more single crochets. One 2x, 7x is now completed. Work another group. Start with 12 single crochets. Then make one single crochet decrease. Let me demonstrate it again. In the left 2 stitches, make one incomplete single crochet each. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops. Another single crochet decrease is now completed. Continue to follow the chart for the remaining part. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. That completes round 16. Now move on to round 17. Start with 1 chain as your turning chain. Then work 11 single crochets. Next, the chart shows a decrease of 3 single crochets into 1 stitch. In the left stitch, make 3 incomplete single crochets in sequence. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. The decrease of 3 single crochets into 1 stitch is now done. Then continue with 6 single crochets. One 1x, M, 6x is now completed. Work another group next. Start with 11 single crochets. Then work a decrease of 3 single crochets into 1 stitch. Let me demonstrate it again. Work 1 incomplete single crochet in each of the 3 stitches on the left side. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. Another decrease of 3 single crochets into 1 stitch is now done. For the remaining part, continue following the chart. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Chain 1 to secure. Leave a yarn tail of 5 cm and cut the yarn. That completes round 17. Keep the yarn tails where they are for now. Move on to round 18 next. Take the yarn in the same color as the main part. Locate the first single crochet of round 16. Draw the yarn through. Then make 1 slip stitch on the left side stitch. Leave the yarn tail on the inside. There's no need to tighten the slip stitches in this round. Make another slip stitch in the next stitch. This round corresponds directly to the stitches of round 16. Correspondingly make slip stitches all the way down. Everyone finish this round. After completing the last slip stitch, leave a yarn tail of 5 cm and cut the yarn. Pull the yarn tail to the inside of the main part. Tie the 2 yarn tails into a knot. Hide it along the texture. This completes round 18. The main part is now finished. Next, we'll learn how to make the Zongzi leaves. It's divided into Zongzi Leaf 1 and Zongzi Leaf 2. Start with Zongzi Leaf 1. Crochet back and forth on the completed main part. The new stitches used are CH chain stitch, T half double crochet, F double crochet, Fa double crochet decrease, and Ta half double crochet decrease. Below, please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with row 1. Face the opening slip stitch marks toward yourself. Position the yarn tail downward. Next, locate round 16. The pointed tip above the triangle, that is, above the yarn tail. Find the mark of a 3SC and 1 on one side of the main part. Join the yarn in the first chain stitch to the left of this tip. Take out the corresponding color yarn. Draw the yarn through. The joining is now completed, then work 2 chains. This counts as 1 stitch. On the second chain, pick up 2 strands and place a stitch marker. After crocheting 2 chains with the original yarn, pick the 2 strands on the right edge of the hook. Next, when you see K, it means skip the stitch without crocheting. Skip the first chain on the left. Starting from the second one, work 55 single crochets evenly. You can hide the yarn tail as you crochet. After completing the single crochet, skip 1 stitch. Finally, the chart shows a half double crochet. Work 1 half double crochet. After finishing, place a stitch marker on the half double crochet stitch. That completes the first row. Now move on to the second row, chain 2 as the turning chain. This counts as 1 stitch. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Place a stitch marker on the second chain. Pay attention after turning the piece. The stitch should be located at the top left, then skip 1 stitch. The turning chain corresponds to the last stitch of the previous row. Start skipping stitches from the second stitch, then work 1 single crochet decrease. Continue crocheting according to the chart for the corresponding stitches. Keep going until you finish the last single crochet decrease. After completing it, skip 1 stitch. Work 1/2 double crochet on the second chain from the turning chain. This is the position marked by the stitch marker. After completing it, place a stitch marker to mark the spot. That completes the second row. For the following third row, follow the demonstration of the previous row, and crochet according to the chart. Remember to place stitch markers at the beginning and ending positions. Everyone finish this row. This is what it looks like after completing 3 rows. Next, everyone take a look. This is what the original yarn looks like after crocheting. Place the main part with the opening facing you. You'll see these indents on the surface of the fabric piece. Start counting the rows from the indent. This is the first row. The next indent will be the third row. Continue counting the rows using this method. Below, crochet the fourth row. Make 2 chains to start. Place a marker. Turn the work over. As you move down, you'll encounter a double crochet. Crochet 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Pay attention not to crochet into the stitch under the turning chain. After completing, refer to the pattern, and crochet the corresponding stitch technique. Continue crocheting until you reach just before the double crochet decrease. When you get to the corresponding position, skip 1 stitch, crochet 1 double crochet decrease. First, work an incomplete double crochet, yarn over. Skip 1 stitch, insert the hook into the next stitch on the left. Draw the yarn through. At this point, there will be 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. 1 incomplete double crochet is now done. Next, work another incomplete double crochet at the marked stitch position on the left. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in once. 1 double crochet decrease is now completed. Place a marker on the stitch. That's how you complete the 4th row. For the 5th row, just crochet the corresponding stitches using the same method as in the 4th row. At the end, work 1 double crochet decrease. Let me demonstrate it again. First, skip 1 stitch. Then, on the remaining 2 stitches, work 1 incomplete double crochet on each. Finally, yarn over and draw through all the loops on the hook in once. Another double crochet decrease is now completed. Skip 1 stitch at the end. That completes the 5th row. For the next rows, rows 6 through 8. Continue crocheting back and forth while following the chart. Pay attention, these rows all start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chains. As you crochet, pick up 2 strands on the 3rd chain stitch to mark it. Everyone can follow the previous demonstration and refer to the chart to complete these rows. Now, crochet the 9th row. Start with 2 chain stitches as the turning chains. Turn your work. Then skip 1 stitch. Crochet 1 half double crochet decrease in the next stitch. First, make an incomplete half double crochet, yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. 1 incomplete half double crochet is now done. Next, make another incomplete half double crochet in the following stitch. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. The half double crochet decrease is now completed. Then continue crocheting corresponding half double crochets. After finishing, crochet 1 more half double crochet decrease. Let me demonstrate it again. On the 2 left side stitches, crochet 1 incomplete half double crochet in each of them. Lastly, yarn over and draw through all loops. Another half double crochet decrease is now done. Skip 1 stitch again. Crochet 1 half double crochet at the end. Crochet 1 chain to secure. Leave a yarn tail of 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. Pull tight. Tuck the yarn tail into the fabric. Row 9 is now completed. The Zongzi Leaf 1 is now done. Now let's move on to the Zongzi Leaf 2. Work back and forth on top of the Zongzi Leaf 1. Finally, sew together. Use the new stitch technique, WX front post single crochet. Below, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start with the first row. Take out the corresponding color yarn. Then face the opening of the main part toward yourself. Ensure the slip stitch marks are facing up. That is, the position of the yarn tail from the end of the main part should be facing up. On the first row of the Zongzi Leaf 1, mark the middle 19 stitches with a stitch marker. The sample swatch is already marked here. Then join the yarn at the marker position on the right side. Insert the crochet hook from right to left into this single crochet. Draw the yarn through. Make 1 chain as the turning chain. Then work 1 front post single crochet into the same stitch. Insert the hook into the right side of the single crochet, where the yarn was joined. Pick up this single crochet. Come out on the left. Work 1 single crochet. The braid on the upper right is its stitch. Place a marker at the stitch position. Then pick up the left single crochet. Work 1 front post double crochet in the single crochet. I'll demonstrate it again. Insert the hook from right to left. Work 1 single crochet. Another front post double crochet in the single crochet is completed. Continue working corresponding front post double crochets in each single crochet below. After completing the last front post double crochet in the single crochet, make a mark. That's the first row completed. Now let's work on the second row. Chain 1 as the turning chain. The turning chain for single crochet doesn't count as 1 stitch. Then turn your work. Work 1 single crochet increase in the first stitch. Make a mark. Then follow the chart to crochet. Work 1 single crochet increase at the end. That's the second row completed. For the remaining rows, the stitch techniques and methods have all been demonstrated before. Just refer to the chart and work back and forth with the corresponding stitches. Don't forget to mark the beginning and ending stitches on both sides. This will prevent adding or missing stitches. This could affect the appearance of the finished product. Everyone finish crocheting these rows. After completing the last stitch, chain 1 to secure. Leave a yarn tail of 20 centimeters and cut the yarn. After completion, the fabric will naturally curl. Next, we'll sew it together. Thread the yarn tail into a sewing needle. Match up the beginning and ending stitches of the last row. Use the whip stitch to sew together. Pick up and insert through both strands of the third chain stitch from the standing stitch. Then exit through the last stitch. Continue sewing by matching each stitch position. Now we're at the position for 3 single crochets, and combining 3 stitches into one. pass through the front loops of these 3 stitches in order. That is, the strand closest to you. After completing, tighten it. Thread the tail into the inside of the fabric piece. Tie a knot to secure it. Finally, hide the tail inside the fabric. Trim any excess yarn tails. That's how you sew it together. Make sure to hide the rest of the tails as well. That's it for the Zongzi Leaf 2. Next, let's learn about accessories. They include limbs, hanging string, decorations, buy, button, and facial expressions. Some accessories need to be crocheted first. Some accessories are pre-made or embroidered. After completing them, assemble everything. Let's start with the parts that need crocheting. Begin with the limbs. Each version has 4 identical crochet pieces. All of them use the magic ring method. Crochet into the magic ring. The technique is similar to the first round of the main part. The swatches have already been prepared in advance. After completing, leave a 15 cm yarn tail before breaking the yarn. Next, let's look at the hanging string. Simply crochet chain stitches to the corresponding length. After everyone has crocheted the hanging string, we'll move on to decorations. The mushroom and the fatty pork of. The mushroom with fresh pork version. The rose of the rose bean paste version. As well as blushes. Let's start by learning how to make the mushroom of the mushroom with fresh pork version. Use the magic ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The technique is similar to that of the main part. The only difference is the number of stitches and rounds. First, everyone refer to the pattern. Crochet the first 3 rounds with the corresponding color yarn. Next, work on the 4th round. When you see BLO below, it means to crochet into the back loop only. That is, pick up the strand that's farther away from you. Start with 1 chain as your turning chain. Then work single crochets evenly into each back loop. Finally, leave a 30 cm tail, and fasten off the yarn. Cut a 40 cm strand of the corresponding color yarn. Thread it into a sewing needle. Align both ends. Then embroider a cross pattern on the 2nd round. Leave the reserved tail inside the mushroom. Once done, tie a knot with the tails inside. Tuck any remaining strands into the inside of the mushroom. That completes the mushroom of the mushroom with fresh pork version. Next, let's learn how to make the fatty pork. Start with foundation chain. Work back and forth in rows. You will need to change colors during the process. Below, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with 8ch. This means to begin with foundation chain. Cast on 8 stitches. Take the corresponding yarn. Then make a knot. The starting knot does not count as one stitch. Gently tighten. Then start crocheting chain stitches. Be mindful not to make the starting chain too tight. Here, you need to crochet a total of 8 chain stitches. Continue crocheting. After completion, check the number of starting stitches. One braid represents one stitch. The loop on the hook does not count as part of the stitch count. The foundation chain is now completed. Next, work on the first row. For H1, dow 2. This means you start crocheting from the second chain from the hook. Count backwards from the left side of the hook. First stitch, second stitch. This is the second to last stitch. Next, pick up the back ridge of the chain stitch. It's this horizontal bar. Crochet 1 slip stitch. The slip stitch doesn't need to be tightened. Then, starting from the next stitch, work into each corresponding back ridge of the chain stitches. Crochet 1 slip stitch. Add the slip stitch you've already crocheted. In total, crochet 4 slip stitches. For this row, pick up and work into the back ridges of each chain stitch. After completing, crochet 1 single crochet. First, take out the yarn of the corresponding color for the next row. Place it above the crochet hook. Hide the yarn tail a little. We'll call the original yarn color 1. The new yarn will be called color 2. With color 1, make 1 single crochet. Weave in color 2 while crocheting. Crochet 1 more single crochet. Now there is only 1 stitch left. For the next row, you need to switch to color 2. With color 1, work an incomplete single crochet. Then, place color 1 from front to back on the hook. Next, hang color 2 properly. Draw color 2 through. Finish the last single crochet. Gently tighten the tail end of color 1. This completes the color change. At the same time, the first row is also finished. We consider the right side of the first row of single crochets as the right side of the entire piece, which is the side where the turning chain yarn tail is on the left hand. Now for the second row, make 1 chain as your turning chain. Turn your work. Continue with color 2. Work single crochets into each stitch of the previous row, matching them up one by one. Wrap color 1's yarn as you go and incorporate it into the stitches. When you reach the position of the slip stitch from the previous row, pick up the braid of the slip stitch, and continue working single crochets. Keep going until there is only 1 stitch left. Now you've reached the last stitch. For the next row, you'll need to switch colors. Make an incomplete single crochet with color 2. Then place color 2 from front to back onto the hook. Switch to color 1 and pull through. Another color change is now completed. This also finishes the second row. Move on to the third row. Chain 1 as the turning chain. Turn your work over. Crochet 1 slip stitch with color 1. Place color 2 above the hook. Work while weaving it in. Then put color 2 underneath the hook. Make 1 slip stitch on the left stitch. Continue with this method. Work until the end, leaving 1 slip stitch. You've reached the position of the last stitch. You will need to change colors for the next row. Insert the hook. Switch to color 2 and pull through. This completes the color change for the slip stitch. The third row is also now completed. Move on to the fourth row. Chain 1 as the turning chain. Turn your work. Pick the half loop from the third row that is closest to you, and the half loop from the second row that is also closest to you. Work 1 single crochet with these 2 strands together. Wrap and crochet together with color 1. Continue by picking the next half loop from the third row on the left side. And the next half loop from the second row. Crochet 1 single crochet. Continue with this method, working single crochets correspondingly. Change colors on the last single crochet for the last stitch. Pick any one strand from the third row and the half loop from the second row that is closest to you. Then switch to color 1 and pull through. This completes the fourth row. Now work on the fifth row. Make 1 chain as your turning chain. Turn your work. Work single crochets into each stitch in sequence from the previous row. Pay attention to wrapping color 2. After completing the single crochet, cut off color 2. Continue using color 1 to work slip stitches until the end. Once the final slip stitch is completed, pull the yarn through. Leave a 20 cm tail before cutting the yarn. Weave in the starting tail along the texture on the wrong side. Trim any excess yarn tails. That completes the fatty pork. Finish the remaining fatty pork in the same way. Next, we'll work on the rose flower of the rose bean paste version. Start with foundation chain. Work along the starting chain. First, make the corresponding number of chains. After completing them, start from the second to last chain. Pick up the half loop above the chain. Work 3 single crochets correspondingly. And 1 slip stitch. Below, when the chart shows, it indicates a large sequence group. Times a number indicates crocheting the large sequence that many times. Indicates crocheting into the same position. On the left chain, first crochet 1 single crochet, 1 chain stitch, 1 half double crochet, then crochet 1 more chain stitch. Finally, crochet 1 single crochet. This completes the content in the brackets. Next, on the left chain, crochet 1 slip stitch. This completes 1 large sequence group. Then crochet another group of the large sequence. On the next stitch, crochet 1 single crochet, 1 chain stitch, 1 half double crochet, 1 chain stitch. Finally, crochet 1 single crochet. On the adjacent chain, crochet 1 more slip stitch. Another group of the large sequence is completed. Then crochet another group of the large sequence. After completing 3 groups of the large sequence, on the next stitch, crochet 5 half double crochets. On the left side, work 1 slip stitch. This completes another group of the large sequence. There are 4 groups of the large sequence remaining. Everyone can finish them as instructed. After completing the last slip stitch, draw the yarn through. Leave a 20 cm tail for sewing. This completes the rose flower of the rose bean paste version. Next, crochet the blush. There are 2 in total. Take out the corresponding color yarn. Start with 2 chain stitches. Then go back to the first stitch. Pick up the top loop of the chains and work 1 single crochet. Then make 1 chain stitch. Work 1 slip stitch next. Finally, Make one chain stitch to secure. Leave a 5 cm tail and cut the yarn. Pull tight. That's one blush completed. Finish the remaining blush using the same method. Next, we'll assemble the pieces. Start by assembling the limbs. Then attach the hanging loop. After that, make the bow. Sew on the button. Install the facial expressions. Finally, sew on the decorations. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific assembly method. Start by assembling the limbs. Take any one of the fabric pieces. Thread the reserved tail end into a sewing needle. Place opening of the Zongzi Leaf 1 facing you. Sew it onto the third row from the left side of the Zongzi Leaf 1, along the edge of the triangle. Insert the needle through from the right side. Leave a 1 cm yarn tail. Sew a few stitches inside the piece. Pay attention not to let the stitches show on the front side. Sew together by inserting the needle from the inside. Tie off with a knot at the end. Glue the yarn tail down on the inside briefly. Trim any excess yarn tails. That's how you attach one of the limbs. There's another piece that needs to be sewn onto Zongzi Leaf 2, in a position symmetrical to the left side. The remaining 2 pieces should be sewn onto the 8th round of the main part, at positions corresponding to the 2 pieces below. You can also sew them according to your own preference. Everyone, sew the remaining limbs together. That concludes the assembly of the limbs. Next, let's assemble the hanging string. Take out the closed ring, and the chain stitch hanging string. Bend the chain stitch hanging loop at the 2/3 point. Fold the shorter end upwards. Fold the longer end upwards as well. At the same time, insert the longer end through a closed ring. Then pinch the folded area. Wrap the longer end around in a circle. You can wrap it tighter. About 5 circles. Then exit through the 2 loops at the fold. Tighten the loop on the left side. Adjust it a little. Finally, hide both ends in the coiled area. Lastly, trim any excess yarn tails. Then take out the needle nose pliers, and open the closed ring. If you don't have needle nose pliers, you can also use scissors to open it. Next, attach one lobster clasp, and one pendant tag. The style of the tag here is random. After putting it on, insert the closed ring into the first round of the main part. Finally, pinch the closed ring tightly. This way, the hanging string is assembled. Below, we will make a bow. Cut a piece of corresponding yarn about 20 centimeters long. Place the wrong side of the Zongzi Leaf 2, facing yourself. Glue the thread onto the dent in the fourth row, from the top of the Zongzi Leaf 1. Apply glue as you attach it. Symmetrically glue the left and right sides of the Zongzi Leaf 1 in position. Glue both ends of the yarn tail on the inside of the Zongzi Leaf 1. This way, one piece of thread is properly glued. Cut another piece of yarn about 20 centimeters long. Horizontally glue this line at the same height, or slightly lower than the line on the left side. Also glue the ending into the interior of the Zongzi Leaf 2. Then cut another piece of yarn about 20 centimeters long. Tie a bow. Finally, glue the bow onto the line on the Zongzi Leaf 2. Trim it a bit. This way, the bow is assembled. Next, sew on a button. Cut a 30 centimeters piece of sewing thread, thread it into the needle. Align both ends. Wrap the Zongzi Leaf 2 around the main part. Sew the button onto the main part at round 9. Match it with the position of the second to last row of edge double crochets on the Zongzi Leaf 2. Finally, tie a knot inside. Weave in and fasten off the yarn. This way, the button is sewn on. Next, let's attach the facial expressions. There are two expressions, facial expression 1 and facial expression 2. Facial expression 1 consists of dot eyes, a resin mouth, and blushes. Facial expression 2 is made up of line eyes, a line mouth, and blushes. You can refer to the finished product for guidance, or you can attach the facial expressions based on your own preference. Let's start by installing the facial expressions. Embroider the dot eyes. Cut a 30 cm segment of the corresponding yarn. Gently pinch the thread with your left hand. Use your right hand to remove one strand. Thread the needle on the side of the main part with the bow, counting from the top down. Between the 7th round and the 8th round, embroider 1 dot eye on each side of the 4 middle stitches. Start by embroidering the dot eye on the right side. Exit through the middle of the stitches in the 8th round. Leave a little yarn tail on the inside. Insert back through the middle of the stitches in the previous round. Determine the height of the dot eye. Then follow this line to embroider both sides. Stitch the curve of the dot eye. This part requires some patience. Once done, embroider another dot eye about 4 stitches apart on the left side. That completes the dot eyes. Tie off the yarn tails on the inside. Next, locate the position between the two dot eyes. Attach the resin mouth in place. Then stick one blush on each side of the dot eyes. Sew a few stitches with the yarn tail to secure them. Finally, tie a knot inside. Weave in and cut the yarn tail. You can also apply some glue to the mouth if needed. Install the other blush symmetrically using the same method. That completes facial expression 1. Now let's move on to installing facial expression 2. Cut a piece of yarn in the corresponding color. Gently pinch the yarn with your left hand. Use your right hand to remove one strand from it. Then thread the needle with it. On the side of the main part with the bow. Slightly to the right of the center, counting down from the top, between the 7th round and the 8th round, embroider a line for the eye. It should take up the space of 2 stitches. Embroider the curve. Secure it in place with glue. Then on the left side, skip about 2 stitches, and embroider another line for the eye. Secure it with glue. Finally, between the 2 eyes, on the next round, embroider a line for the mouth. Note that the curve of the mouth should be opposite to the curve of the eyes. Secure it with glue. Lastly, tie off and secure the knot. Trim any excess yarn tails. Next, attach a blush on both sides of the eyes. The method is the same as for facial expression 1. Everyone can now attach the blush. This completes the explanation of facial expression 2. Below, we will sew on the decorations. Start by sewing the mushroom of the mushroom with fresh pork version. I will demonstrate using a sample swatch. The facial expression is not part of the reference. Leave a yarn tail and thread it through the needle. Sew on the right side of the hanging string. Pick up the stitches from the last round of the mushroom, so between the first and seventh rounds of the main part. Finally, tie a knot with the yarn tail inside. Weave in the end and fasten off the yarn. The mushroom of the mushroom with fresh pork version is now sewn together. Next, sew the fatty pork. Take out the 2 pieces of fatty pork. Make sure the right side is facing you. Position the starting point upward. Place the 2 pieces of fatty pork in a staggered arrangement. Secure them with glue. Then sew just below the facial expression part, between the main part and the Zongzi Leaf one. You can apply some glue first to hold it in place. Next, thread the reserved yarn tail into a sewing needle. Sew a few stitches along the edge to secure it. Also insert the yarn tail from the other piece into the main part. Tie a knot with the yarn tails. Weave in the ends and fasten off the yarn. The fatty pork is now sewn together. The decoration for the mushroom with fresh pork version is completed. Next, sew the rose flower of the rose bean paste version. Thread the reserved yarn tail of the rose into a sewing needle. Roll the rose petals inward. Pay attention to staggering the petals. Then follow the starting point of the rose and cast on. Sew a few stitches to secure it in place. Finally, take the rose and sew it onto the right side of the hanging string, on the third and fourth rounds of the main part. After completing, tie a knot inside, weave in the ends and fasten off the yarn. The rose is now sewn on. Finally, around the hanging string, apply blush powder in small amounts multiple times. Up to this point, the entire tutorial for making the earphone case is completed. If you have any unclear parts while crocheting, you can contact with our customer service. Susan's family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.